Gourdel.
That's right. Hervé Gourdel is on the front page of virtually every paper here in France. Let's start by looking at the front page of 20 Minutes. Very simply, they say they killed him. That's on the front page, of course, a photo of him there. Simple title on the front page of La Croix 2, the French hostage is killed by his captors. Now, La Croix reminds us of the timeline. He was taken hostage on Sunday by an Algerian group calling itself the Soldiers of the Caliphate, linked to the Islamic State group, and that group threatened to execute him unless France stopped its airstrikes in Iraq. And yesterday, of course, they released a video of him that we've been not showing here on France 24, showing his execution. It's a copycat video of those other videos we've seen released in recent weeks of the Islamic State group executing hostages as well. Now, La Croix is a very emotional editorial today and points out that according to his assassins, his execution is a message written in blood to the French government. And La Croix really defends the government's decision not to give in to the group's blackmail. French authorities are not responsible for Gourdel's death. The culprits are those who have decided that people who don't think the way they do, people who don't live the way they do, or don't believe in the same things they do, don't deserve a place on earth. They're the ones who are to blame.
And a real feeling of outrage, understandably, in the French press too.
That's right. Libération today says that Hervé Gourdel was decapitated simply because he's French. Now, that really echoes what President François Hollande said at the UN as well. It's very, very dark, sad front page of Libération there. Black background with just that photo of Gourdel. And in its editorial, Libération likens Gourdel to an innocent martyr. And according to Libération, the challenge that's being laid down by these bloodthirsty criminals should be risen to. Yes, there should be a debate about France's military engagement in this war, but not today. According to Libération, this is not the time to doubt. It's normal to be horrified by this crime, but it should not lead to irrational fear. Doubting or hitting the pause button now justifies the tactics of these barbarians, as Libération calls them, and that would be a sign of weakness.
Aujourd'hui en France, talking about a crime committed by masked murderers.
That's right. That's on the front page of Le Parisien today. They talk about this le crime, the crime. So with that photo, once again, of Hervé Gourdel, he's dead because he represents everything his assassins hate, according to Le Parisien. In their editorial, they talk about France's motto, liberté, égalité, fraternité, freedom, equality, brotherhood. These are French values that he incarnated, according to Aujourd'hui en France, and that is exactly why he was assassinated. And another article, Aujourd'hui en France, actually pays tribute to him as a person. He really incarnated those values. He was a good guy, according to Aujourd'hui en France. He was a mountain guide who wasn't prejudiced. He went to Algeria because he's curious about the world. He's open to people who are different from him. His assassins, on the other hand, really represent the worst possible sides of humanity, according to Le Parisien.
And the right-leaning Le Figaro has some very harsh words for his killers.
That's right. They call them barbarians today. That's on the front page of Le Figaro. This is nauseating, according to Le Figaro in its editorial. Once again, they oppose Hervé Gourdel, his face, his smiling, confident face, open towards others, curious about the world. This is a stark contrast, according to Le Figaro, with the masked faces of his assassins, hidden by these balaclavas. Now, according to Le Figaro, these terrorists are digging a ditch between different populations and different cultures. And in its editorial that you can see here, Le Figaro calls on civilized societies to defend themselves against these enemies.
And you found a piece in L'Opinion. They're taking rather a closer look, aren't they, at the Islamic group's strategy?
That's right. Now, L'Opinion actually takes a step back from all the emotion today and takes a look at what's happening here. Behind the facade of jihad, this assassination is a political move, according to L'Opinion. What these self-proclaimed soldiers of the caliphate are doing, above all, is politics. Now, this beheading comes as the French parliament debates about France's military operation against the Islamic State group, and so in a way it's perhaps trying to sway that debate. So it's a message to French politicians. It's also, according to L'Opinion, a message to the Islamic State group. This Algerian group is really trying to claim their importance in the global jihad with this beheading. L'Opinion says they have to prove themselves in a way by beheading some infidels if they want to rise in the ranks of this new terrorist superpower that's challenging Al-Qaeda.
Okay, Flo, thanks very much. Flo Villeminot with the French papers, summing up a very emotional set of papers today here in France, of course. Latest news for you after the break. I'll also speak to our correspondent, or our international affairs editor, rather, Doug Herbert, on the death of Hervé Gourdel. And as our tour of Paris's diverse cultures continues, today it's the turn of the Arab community. That's in focus.